It's time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. It is Thursday, August 25th. We are one day away from the Rio Hondo Prep football season starting tomorrow, Friday night at Care Park. I know I have another podcast called A Charge to Keep that is all Rio football, but I know I got a lot of listeners who listen to both, so I'm pretty fired up about tomorrow's game. But back to my Thursday recording schedule here. I am off again, and it's just easier to wake up in the morning, grab a few cups of coffee, and get to work, and then get the episode out on Thursday as kind of a treat for the weekend. So I hope you haven't missed me too much on those Tuesday episodes, but here I am. Got some good feedback from last week's Get Home Safe show with just some of my ramblings and rants and just overall, just general things that go on in my head sometimes. So this is good for me. It's a good place to vent. And then, of course, over the weekend, get to do my Charge to Keep podcast. So very excited about that. For those who might be interested with the Charge to Keep podcast, again, we're doing our Sunday game recap episodes, recording with Coach Carson and usually a special guest. But I'm also going to have an episode out on Fridays, probably just like 15, 20 minutes, just kind of a brief game preview type of thing where I'm going to do like my 5 keys to the game tonight. And then, of course, at the games themselves on Friday nights, I will be there in person for now, as long as I can with work and things. But I will be there recording probably a lot of social media videos. I'm going to do like a pregame show type of deal. I may put that on YouTube, but I will have most of those clips put out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, however you follow us. You should be able to see them. And just kind of a benefit to stay updated on the social media pages there, because you'll want to know, you'll want to see clips of the team coming out, clips of maybe some big plays, or the coin toss, whatever it is, whatever's going on Friday night. I want to keep you guys informed who can't get there, and it's an opportunity for those who did go to the game to relive it a little bit, and maybe even the boys on the team would want to check it out. So those are some housekeeping items for the Charge to Keep podcast. But today is Thursday, and that is the Get Home Safe podcast time. Again, great feedback last week when I heard some people talk to me about some of the things I ranted about, and they're out there. They range all over. Why do girls call each other girlfriends? I don't understand that. Pizza math, all kinds of weird stuff that just goes through my head, and some serious topics as well, which is a big reason I do this also. So hopefully you guys are entertained. Are you not entertained? Right? As the Gladiator, Russell Crowe says, great movie. I do have something I have to admit to you guys. First off, let's get some coffee here. Last week I recorded and I had a cold cup of coffee. I'm like, wait a minute, you got to take hits of this. This is your magic elixir. You got to keep this going. And black coffee, as God intended. You think there was cream and sugar in the Garden of Eden, guys? I don't think so. I know it was paradise. So there was not a lot of nice fruits, maybe some fruits that were forbidden and shouldn't have been touched and ended up getting eaten. But I got to imagine coffee was probably intended just to be drank as is. And it's not to say every now and then I don't indulge. Let's try a little coffee cake creamery. It tastes like Christmas a little bit. So you got things of that nature. But man, black. And it took me a while to get here. I'll admit it took our adulting. Adulting sometimes takes us a little while to get where we need to be. And this is just a big part of it. Nice hot black coffee. Okay, enough of me. Not enough of me, because I do have something to admit to you guys. This is something, it's hard to admit, but again, a big part of, I don't know, making life tolerable is being able to admit when you're wrong, admit your mistakes, admit your faults. And this is something, well, I'll just say this. This is probably something you don't know about me. How's that? We should start a segment where I talk about things you don't know about me. I think it would probably scare a few people, and it would probably not be that surprising to other people. They'd be like, yeah, that's Matt. or whatever. So this is something, and that's something I'm gonna take care of real soon. But this is something you may not know about me, and it's something again you probably would not guess. And as much as I love football, as much as I love high school football, I loved the Friday Night Lights movie. I love most movies that have ever been made about football at any level. Something I have never seen is the Friday Night Lights television show, and I've heard nothing but good things. It started in 2010. It went for 5 seasons. It's kind of a follow-up on the Friday Night Lights movie. I was like first in line for that Friday Night Lights movie because I think it was, well, I had just finished playing high school ball, but I've never seen the Friday Night Lights television show, and I intend to do so. It's on Netflix. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to dive in and to especially this time of year. I think it's really really special to dive into that. I don't know what's taking me so long. There's so many shows like that, but I've always been like, I'll get to that later. That's part of the beauty of having all this streaming, is that you can put things. Well, I don't. Is it procrastination? Remember how it used to be? Like when we were in high school, what was the big show at the time? And it wasn't just high school kids, but it was the world. It was Friends. I remember at Thursday nights, and everything shut down. Everyone had to watch it at that time. And I didn't really, I was in high school. Like, what is this? But that was a big, like, the point is, when there was a show, people sat down and watched it, and it was right then and there. There was no really options for later. You could put a tape in and record it, old school style. But it's just, now we can kind of wait and watch things like Hard Knocks, one of my favorite HBO shows. I've been watching that. And if I can't get to it Tuesday night, so I'll get to it Wednesday, on HBO Max or whatever. I know the Game of Thrones new show, House of Dragon, was a big hit on Sunday night. It was okay to me. I guess I have high expectations. I watched it, did watch all of Game of Thrones, and that's definitely not for everybody. A lot of, we'll say, tough content, a lot of violence, and a lot of other things in the Game of Thrones series. So if you're not into, we'll say, rated R content, it's probably not for you. But so there's a lot of people that not however many million people watched at this time, but more and more people are going to watch that and other shows streaming later on. So it's cool to have those options. But there was a time back in my day, right, when television shows were just, hey, this is the time it's on, you got to watch it, much like sports. Can you imagine? I had to do this the past couple of years. Monday Night Football, I got to record it, get home and watch it at 10 o'clock at night and try to block out everything that didn't happen. I'm going off on a tangent here, but the bottom line is I haven't watched the Friday Night Lights television show. I don't know much about it. I've seen little clips here and there. Yeah, I shame on me. Shame on me. That's all I can say. I guess I was focused on my officiating career at that time, and I still should have dove it, because I fell in love more with high school football when I started to officiate it. And I didn't think, when you play it, I coached it and then I officiated it. It was a different type of love, but love nonetheless. And I stepped away. I didn't see a lot of Rio Hondo games because of that. And so that's a big reason I'm excited for this season opener tomorrow night, because I can actually attend, which I haven't been able to do in, almost, who knows, like a decade, I would think. So anyway, haven't watched Friday Night Lights, but I'm going to jump on that right now and try to get an episode out a day or something like that. And I'll binge through it in no time. So yeah, there's that. Shame on me. I hope it's shame on. I hope it's a good show. And I'm like, okay, this is, I'm all in, because that's how I am with shows. It takes me a few episodes. And then if usually they're right around the 5-6 episode mark, boom, something pops and I'm all in. So hopefully it does that. I have no doubt that it will. Let me see here. Okay, let's just go into the big news of the week, we'll say, over the past couple of days. I have started to compile a list of all of my expenses. And, it's California. It's tough. There's, I'm going to charge you for everything, charge you for, just, it's insane. So I think, I just thought of another one. I'm compiling a nice big list, and I want to, present it to the federal government. And what I would like is to ask for forgiveness for all bills from the past, all debt from the past, past, present, and in the future. This is money that I will be spending very soon on my electric bills, my gas. Can we get some gasoline, some fuel forgiveness for for the future? How about, can we get a check? I would love that. Let's get a check for all the gas that I'm going to be spending from here until a long time. Grocery. How about some here's your groceries. Sounds a little like socialism to me for the government to pay for everything, but what do I know? I'm just a, rookie podcaster rambling away, drinking hot coffee in his kitchen in the morning. So I would like forgiveness. Oh, my car. Yes, I still have payments to make on my car. I would love to apply for forgiveness on my car loan. That would be fantastic. What else do I owe? I have a bills list in here somewhere. What else? Taxes, federal taxes. How about state taxes? Can I get forgiveness on those? Can I, it's taken out of my check. I see the pay stub and I'm like, okay, there and there. And and sure, maybe there's a tax refund at the end of the year. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. But can I get some forgiveness on my taxes? Past, present, and future. What do you say? Where do we submit the application? Is there a universal forgiveness page, website, something I can submit to? Because I just want to know, since it seems to be the popular thing to just, student debt? Sure, no problem. We'll take care of that. You took out a loan. You promised to pay it off. But you know what? It's a lot. We can't ask you to do that. We can't ask you to fulfill a promise. Now, cards on the table. I've applied for loans. During the whole COVID thing. I won't get into details, but there was some financial issues for everybody, right? Unemployment, of course, we all did that for a little bit. There was disaster loans and this and that, and there may or may not have been some forgiveness on some of those things, but not a lot. I don't think it's a good principle to live by. I mean, any money, I was told any money you have, my father always told me, don't borrow a lot of money, but any money you do borrow, you always pay it back with interest, whether it's through a bank or a friend, whatever. And I've gotten into financial jams in the past and had to borrow money from friends. And you know what? It took some time, but I always paid them back. And there's people out there that probably wouldn't have thought twice about, hey, don't worry about it, man. All's forgiven. You were struggling. I was in a good place. Let me take care of you. There's I would think a lot of, my Christian friends out there who are very, very great at giving of their time and, contributing to missionaries and things like that. That's a different story. But my point is, it was, announced this week that President Biden was going to give up to $20,000 for people on their student debt, their student loans. What's this pause on payment thing that's been going on for the past few months here in LA? I mean, for an LA, was it LA County or California? There was a, hold on rents. You don't have to pay rent, right? And landlords couldn't do anything about it during COVID, right? Tough times. And these are just one of the many reasons why I was so fed up with all this stuff, because it wasn't just a stupid mask. It wasn't just the restrictions and the closing. It was just like our entire society was crumbling. People are getting used to not paying rent. We're getting used to just crime being, oh, no, that's no big deal. That's what people are going to do. People stealing bread. They're hungry. Yeah, a lot of people stealing bread. You see all these videos of criminals just robbing CVS pharmacies or grocery stores, just going in with a big, one item I never see is bread. I see a lot of liquor bottles. I see a lot of other expensive items. Toiletry. I don't know. You see a lot of things. I don't see bread. I don't see bread, AOC, who thinks that every criminal is just stealing to feed their family. Like, who's the guy in Les Miserables? He just needed bread for the family. So I needed to steal all those top shelf liquor bottles to feed my kids. Yeah, okay. So this whole student debt forgiveness. And I got into an argument with someone a few months ago about this, talking about student debt. And they're like, well, the government, or these loan companies, they hit them with these interest rates. Yeah, because you're loaning thousands of dollars to an 18-year-old who has no credit history. So what do you think the interest rates are going to be? And also, if college is, I guess, free now, I should have gone to USC. I don't have the grades, but Great. I guess grades don't matter. We see some of the people that get into USC. Well, I guess you're a really good athlete, or if you're a Hollywood celebrity's daughter, right? They'll push you to the forefront there. Oh, wait, that didn't work out so well. But if college is free, if they're all the same, you're telling me it costs the same to go to Cal State Fullerton as USC? Wow, what a decision I made. That wasn't smart. Matt, you don't have to take out student loans. Yeah, I did not. And you know why? Because my father and my mother were very adamant about no student debt. None. Zero. And so you know what had to happen? Now, did I get some assistance from my parents? Yes, I did. But I earned it. I earned every penny of it. Trust me. And cards on the table. I paid for over half of my college myself. Yes, with scholarships. Yes, with getting grants, volunteer hours, and things of that nature. But again, you know what? The evil E word, those were earned. Those weren't given. Nothing is given to you. Things are earned. If things are given to you, you don't appreciate them. My parents taught me that from a very young age, and God bless them for doing so. I didn't like it at the time, but they said, Matt, you got your license now. You have a car that you can use. 89 Honda. Love you. Miss you. Excuse me, 89 Camry. How dare I? I'm driving a Camry now. So said, you got a car. You got to pay the insurance or gas. And the insurance was through the roof. And, they said, we'll take care of your gas. That way we know how much you're driving and blah, blah, but you got to pay the car insurance or you're not driving. Oh, man, come on. Cell phone. You don't need a cell phone. You don't need a cell phone in high school. You can't afford a cell phone. And we're not paying for it. There's a payphone right there, and you will call us when you need to. Oh, mom and dad, I don't like you. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you teaching me responsibility? I don't like it. And then when I graduated college, I got a bunch of money from, generous gifts from friends and family. I got myself a cell phone, got myself a cell phone plan. I had to pay for it. They weren't going to pay for it. Matt, you grew up in Glendora. Yeah. Baja Glendora, friends. If you've never been there, south of Foothill. You know what I mean? South of the 210. Heck, we're on the south side of it. We were practically Covina, where I live now, which is ironic. Where my family is all from. But yeah, my parents, they said, no student loans. They'll say, we'll help. And that was always the words, will help. My dad, God bless him again, we'll help. Now we got you. We'll take care of this. My dad helped with tuition. My mom helped me with books, although I always had to sell books. And so none of this was free. And education should be free. Really? How's free education going in California now? Or around the country, all these public school systems. You think they're in a good place right now? They're free. Not to brag, but private schools, I think, are probably doing a better job. Not all of them, but I know of a few. And anyway, what about the people that were responsible and paid their student debt? And I know it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I get that. I know that. I don't want to pay that. But why would you take out hundreds of thousands of dollars alone to go major in, art history or sociology or something? If you're going to do those things, fine. That's your passion. Go for it. But that's probably not paying a lot of money after college, not the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Plus, go to Cal State if you're going to do that stuff. I didn't really apply other places. I probably could have applied other places just to see if I would have got in to, some local private universities and things. But I also knew, those cost 30 grand a year. Yeah, I'm not going there. And now 30 grand would be a bargain, right? Student debt loan forgiveness. You know how much money that is? I thought it was 300 billion. It's actually closer to 500 billion. You break it all down. And you know what's a great idea when we're in a recession? Oh, sorry. Can we say that? When inflation has gone through the roof, you know what is a wonderful idea? Spend more money, print more money. I am the furthest thing from an economic strategist, expert, anything. I do know this though. Keep printing money is not working. Be prepared for more things that cost more money. Costs are not going to go down based off of this. And you could make, Matt, these people need help and they need to. We all need help. We all need help on gas prices. We all need help on everything. Everything costs money. I had some financial juggling I had to do recently. I won't go into specifics. I think everyone's had to do something. But And that's why it's important to have good credit, establish yourself, build up, this enables you to be able to get a decent auto loan, right? A home loan, hopefully in the future. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, but personal loans, whatever. You earn these things. And so the whole student debt thing, when student loans, when you're 18, you can get a cosigner, which you probably have to, right? Just graduate high school, you have no credit history. There's a reason the interest rates are so high, because you're being given something. You haven't earned anything yet. I would venture to say maybe a 30-year-old who gets some loans, student loans, they probably have a better interest rate. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know anything. Maybe if it's checked off as a student loan, it just, hey, the interest rate, you're going to pay forever for this. I don't want to make a decision where I pay forever for something. I don't. There's some funny stories. There's some funny thoughts there, but I won't touch them. I don't want to pay forever for certain things. I'd like to be capped at, all right, you're going to pay this for 5 years. You're going to pay this for 6 years. Even, God willing, a home someday. All right, this is 20, 30 years, whatever, but not forever. I don't like forever. Well, some things I like forever, but anything that costs me money forever, that I don't like. So what about the people that paid off their student loans? What about them? Are they just left like dust in the wind? Hey, you guys, you did what you were supposed to. Good job. No. Reparations? Should they demand student loan payment reparations? Can that word be used in this situation? I don't know. Don't cancel me. I'm throwing it out. Forgiveness. Loan forgiveness. I believe in forgiveness. I think there's a good book somewhere that preaches forgiveness. Yeah, it's very important. But what is the Lord? Pay your debts as you pay. No, pay your debts as you forget. It's hard to recite the Lord. Pledge of Allegiance, the Lord's Prayer, anything from memory. It's hard to like jump to the middle of the stanza or something and recite. We forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors, I believe, as those who trespass against us, whatever. But anytime you think about it, it's hard to like go to a line in something you've memorized, because you're just saying the whole thing. I could say the whole thing, top to bottom, but it's hard to wait. What is the phrase? You go into the middle of it. That's hard to do, at least for me. But again, I didn't have student loans, so I'm not a very smart person. It's all costs. Where does it end? Loan forgiveness. It's the fancy term for we'll take care of it. The government will take care of everything. Everything. We will tell you how high to put your air conditioner. We will tell you what car you're allowed to drive. We will tell you how much food you can get at the grocery store. We'll tell you what cable packages. We'll tell you what team to root for. I mean, where does this thing end? No one else is like terrified of all this government type of control. The founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, they understood the threat of the state and like to keep things, I don't know, separate, different entities. Our Constitution, the system is amazing. Federalism, right? States' right, that's big too. And just so that no one group, I guess, could get too much power. And I'm sorry. Again, student debt loan forgiveness. It sounds great in theory. Oh man, that's great. Yeah. People that way, they won't have to pay that bill anymore. Government will take care of it. And have I gotten government payments? Sure, I get a tax refund most years, not all years. I get I was on unemployment for 5 months, I think, when no one was working. But now it's just like, oh, don't worry about it. Stay home. Stay home. We got you. Depend on the government. I don't want to depend on anybody but me. I want to be left alone, and I want to depend on myself to live this life and support, those closest to me, loved ones and things. But it sucks when you got to we've all been there when you need to go to someone for help. It could be a parent. It could be a friend. Hey man, I'm struggling right now. I need some help. And it doesn't necessarily have to be money, but it usually is. Money makes the world go round, right? We all want more of it. We can't always get it. It's just, I don't know. The money is the root of all evil. No, the love of money is the root of all evil, right? We need money. You need money to build churches. You need money to donate, to do good things, to raise a family. You need money. So this whole money's evil thing, I don't understand that either. It's just, it's to me, it's an idolatry standpoint. If you put money above other things, right? Or, and it's not to say like the guys that have to work hard, they got to work late and work long hours. And it's like, you're making money, but what for? What foundation are you building? Is this for your family? Right? A lot of people will justify a lot of things by doing things for their family. And it's a fine line. It's a fine line as to what the lengths we will go for family sometimes. But I'm always craving more money. I wish I could have done better financially for myself at this stage of my life. But I also know that I got to pursue some dreams and some opportunities and things that I wouldn't change for the world. So I think I'm kind of on my feet. I'm saying I'm on my feet. I'm probably on one foot with a knee on the ground and like rising, kind of like a boxer who just took a shot to the gut and is trying to like collect himself. That's kind of where I'm at in life. I'm not on the canvas. I'm not on both feet either. I'm kind of making my way up and about to give the referee my gloves so that he can wipe them off and see if I'm still good to go. That's where I'm at in life. But you know what? The fight ain't over. I'm ready to rise and take a few swings myself. And when you're ready to fight, you're going to take some blows too. So I'm throwing out analogies all day today. Analogies all over the place. But anyway, student loan debt forgiveness, man alive, gas forgiveness, tax forgiveness, rent forgiveness. I'm just going to keep that. And I've been posting this stuff on my personal Facebook page just because I like to throw out the hypocrisy and the nonsense when I see it. So for those, hey, let's work on, hey, now do car loans. Let's do car loans next. Or gas stations. Let's just fill up our car and then request forgiveness. That would be great too, right? No, but then they'll be like, no, you only get 2 gallons a week or whatever, because they want to control that. And the cars are destroying the planet. I guess. I don't know. I lose track of all these things. I lose track of all of the chaos, of all of the, what's the magic word? The crisis. You put crisis on the end of anything. The climate crisis, the student loan crisis, the COVID crisis. Put crisis on the end of anything. Whoa. We better act, right? It's all language. I've told you guys this before. It's all language. The words you use, shaping narratives. And anyway, it's all language. All right. Let me move off of that. I saw a show recently that I absolutely loved. I was looking forward to it. I loved it. And I think you guys should check it out as well. It's on Paramount Plus. It's called The Offer. And it's a movie about a movie. Yes, it's a movie about the making of The Godfather, the cinematic classic, right? Arguably the greatest movie ever made. Godfather 2, Part 2, obviously was awesome as well. The only sequel to win an Academy Award, but the original Godfather movie, it was a 10-part series. It talked about the production team. It talked about the mafia in the real life and kind of their response to the making of this film. Joe Colombo, the producers and directors, Francis Ford Coppola, and Mario Puzo, the author and the director of the book and the movie, how they all came to be. And just, it was so well done. And it was on the 50th anniversary of the Godfather movie being released in 1972, or maybe it won the Academy Award in 1972. But either way, 50-year anniversary, which is why this show came out. It was awesome. It took you back to the 1960s, 70s Hollywood. A lot of things haven't changed, but some things have. Just kind of the egos, the power, the ambition, right? Everyone thinks they have a $1 million idea and want to be famous overnight, and plus the issues, the problems. People didn't like Al Pacino as the possible lead in the movie. They had other big stars in it, and that's the other thing about the show. They display these characters who are portraying Al Pacino, James Caan, what is Marlon Brando. The actors that portray those actors, if that makes sense. Oh man, looks just like them. And it was cool. The show reminded me a lot of Winning Time on HBO, the recreation of the Showtime Lakers, right? Jerry Buss, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was kind of that format, but in the making of a movie. And I just loved it. We binged it, we killed it. So big time encouragement for you guys to go check that out. Let me see what else we got here. No. I want to talk about two separate lists I'm going to do with summer ending and football season beginning. I compiled two lists here. Not top 10, whatever. We live in this age of top 10 and rankings and this and that. So I thought I'd share this with you guys. And I'll do another little rant in between the two lists, but I have two lists that I wanted to share with you. First one is with summer ending. It's already over and kids are back in school or whatever, but I just kind of wrote down 10 of my favorite summer memories. Usually most of them being as a kid, because when you're a kid, summer means something, right? No school. Oh man, all play, right? It's just the best. And so I wrote down 10 memories from my summer experiences, kind of that I will never forget, or kind of just stick out to me as summer memories. And then the other top 10 list I created with football season starting and me being so passionate about just real football going here. I thought it's hard for me to not think about refereeing. The past few years, I haven't been in it, and I still get the texts from my buddies. I'm on group chains and things of, the football season starting and meetings and, the games, and then the lower level games, and just how the weekends are going. It's a lot of interaction with the football officials and some of my best friends. So I compiled a list of my 10, not best or favorite, but just 10 memorable football stadiums, football fields. I should say the 10 most memorable football fields I ever officiated on, and kind of the backstory behind each one. So I'm going to try to do both of those right now, try to do it in a timely manner. I should only do one list per show, but I thought I'd, why not? It's transition, end of summer, football starting. And so as I stepped away from being involved with Rio for a while, I was, pursuing a very big time football officiating career. Didn't quite end how I wanted, but hey, nothing, most things usually don't. And it's just about the journey itself. So let's start off with the summer, and 10 of my summer memories. I'm going to go in backwards order. Just again, I threw these down real quick, and a lot of it has to do with kind of summer trips and things, but 10 of my favorite, again, not favorite, memorable moments from the summers growing up. At number 10 is Knott's Berry Farm. I've always seen Knott's Berry Farm is superior to Disneyland. Yeah, I said it. What do you want to do about it? I love just the environment, the Western feel, better roller coasters, I think. And got to go to Knott's Berry Farm only in the summers as a kid, and usually with my school on a field trip. One day a year got to go there. But I know my family, my dad especially, they enjoy the chicken dinner restaurant there down outside the park, and it's just a good environment. Some people would say, "Oh, it's JV Disney." Fine, that's fine. I prefer it. I prefer the prices. I prefer the story, it being on a berry farm there, and just kind of, I don't know, some great memories there. Whether it's riding Boomerang for the first time, or what was the other, Montezuma's Revenge, going on my first loop ride. Oh, scary stuff. But I don't know. I enjoyed Knott's Berry Farm. Haven't been in a while, but one of my favorite places. At number 9, Raging Waters, right here in San Dimas, right up the road. Again, didn't get to go unless it was a school trip. Did it with Rio a few times when we were junior high guys, but just being in a water park and the fact that it was so close. Usually you go to Disneyland or Knott's or these places, they're far away, right? And I've gone to other water parks on summer trips, but Raging Waters, the OG, world famous, right here. You go there, you got to wear your sandals so you're not walking on hot cement all day. Lunch always tasted super great after being in the water all day and just going on all these rides. So Raging Waters comes in at number 9 for me. Again, I haven't been in forever, and I'm probably too old for that stuff, but Raging Waters was always pretty cool, whether going down big slides or playing around the Amazon River. Good memories and good times. At number 8, I have London to LAX. Let me explain. In 2001, we had a summer trip to Europe. spent 4.5, 5 weeks there in Europe. And we ate at every McDonald's and Burger King there in Europe. And we started in London, ended in London, went to France, Germany, all over Switzerland. An amazing trip as I was going into my junior year. But I specifically remember getting on the plane in London as we were flying back to LA, because we were coming back to start in a week or so our first season in varsity football. And that's 2001. And we all wore shirts on the plane. We wore our football shirts in like solidarity on the plane going to LAX. And that was about a month before 9/11 happened. And I remember a guy getting on the plane, one of our teammates, and he had a knife, and they made him mail it home there at the terminal. And I remember getting on the plane thinking, man, who would hijack a plane? What is he going to do? Hijack a plane with a knife? And then a month later, the awful terrorist attacks in the East Coast and just in America that happened. And I just remember thinking back to that moment, like, whoa, I said these words, and that's what it was a trippy moment. Funny side of this story, I get home and I told my parents somehow, oh, they're going to bus us to Rio. Well, they didn't do that. All the families and parents met at LAX, and I had to call them and tell, hey, I'm here at LAX. So I waited at LAX by myself. Well, maybe there was a coach or someone waiting for me, but I was there at LAX for a few hours, just waiting for mom and dad to make their way there. I was the last person picked up from our Europe trip there in 2001. Number 7, kind of piggybacking on that, double sessions. Now, a lot of guys didn't love that. It wasn't easy. It wasn't the best favorite thing to do, but double sessions, it was, man, we're going back into football season. I didn't mind the hard work, the morning grass, right? The wet grass in the morning. You're all wet and gross uniform that you just throw in your locker and then go home and cool off for a few hours, come back for the nightcap. I remember always we put out a mattress in the living room at home and turn the AC on, go home. It was one of the only times my dad was like, yeah, you can run the AC, is during double sessions, going home to cool off, lay on the mattress, turn the AC on, and watch the Little League World Series. That was always on during that time. So I remember the fond memories of that. Double sessions, go home, watch the Little League World Series, and actually get to use the air conditioning on a mattress that we laid out in the living room. So fun times there. At number 6, a soccer moment made my list. Yes, domination of Care Youth League soccer by the Glendora Gators. 3 titles in 4 years. No big deal. I wasn't that into soccer, but we were competing. And some would say, oh, it's Care Youth League soccer. That doesn't really count. But you know what? Domination. 3 titles, 3 rings. That's right. The Cowboys want to live in the past. So can I. We won it as Bs. We won it at As. We won it as double As. Triple As. I don't know what happened. Maybe we got too worn out from the other sports we were winning. You know what I mean? So shouldn't say 3 titles in 4 years. 3 titles in 3 years. 3-peat, baby. Woo. I remember KYL soccer, you play like 2 games a day. They're like 50-minute games. And I just remember even being out there as a kid, like, yeah, we have to do this. Like, I didn't like it, but it's like, yeah, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And so we dominated. I scored some goals myself, had a buzzer beater in one of those games, I'm trying to remember. And then I played some goalie as well, goalkeeper. But soccer, very different, very like, whatever. But hey, domination by the Glendora Gators. Number 5, to be bipartisan here. I was on a summer trip, and I think 94, maybe 95. It was when you were a 4th and 5th grader. We met President Clinton in Yellowstone. We had just missed him in a whitewater rafting. He was there before us. We kind of knew he was on vacation and kind of everywhere he went, we were just there right after and stuff. But anyway, at Yellowstone as a 4th grader, there he was, surrounded by Secret Service and shaking not just our hands on the summer trip, but a bunch of tourists and everything. And it was cool to see a United States president in person as a 4th grader. You just kind of, and I didn't understand all the the politics and everything at that time, but I just remember thinking how cool it was that, hey, there's the president and the Secret Service, all of them in their tourist gear, but they all got the shades on, and you could see the earpiece, and all of them just game face looking around, especially at us little kids, because they're just like, where's this attack going to come from, right? So they were on their game, but that was cool in 94, maybe 95, seeing President Clinton at Yellowstone. Number 4 on my list is Sunset Beach. Let me explain. Our family didn't do a whole lot of vacations, but the couple of vacations we did, I want to say it was like 3 years in a row where we rented a beach house down at Sunset Beach, right on the sand. Not a huge place by any means, but a kind of a little nice little living room and kitchen area, a couple bedrooms. And then upstairs was like this little loft where Sam and I like to make our room. But it was just so cool. You step outside and you're on the beach. And we did it for a week, Monday through Sunday, I think, maybe Monday to Friday. And even when I had some Care Youth League soccer games, I hustle, 2 days a week, went to Covina and came back. But it was awesome. It was awesome. Captain Jack's across the street, still our favorite restaurant to this day, where we go to for celebrations, and just a special place. They've since remodeled that house and things, but every time I drive by there, I take a peek down the street that we used to go. The house that we used to go to, and there was a little 7-Eleven liquor store around the corner where we used to go get ice cream all the time, and we just lived in our bathing suits all day, and we're in the water all day. It was just awesome. And the parents, they had some friends come in usually, and they went to dinner and did stuff. So it was just awesome. The best vacations, because they were really the only ones we ever did when we were kids, was about it was at least 3 years. I think we did rented the beach house for 1 year, 1 week, and just a special time. Number 3, the Oval Office. Yes, yours truly at one time stood in the doorway of the Oval Office. It was on a summer trip, I believe. Let me see. It would have been before 08. So George Bush was the president at the time. He was not there, but we were given a tour. Me, Todd Carson, and I think 4 boys we were coaching on that summer trip. We went on a private tour by Melissa Carson, who was working for the White House at that time. It was at nighttime. It was not a VIP scheduled tour or anything, but we got a little tour of the White House grounds, went through the Rose Garden, and got to stand in the doorway of the Oval Office. Couldn't go in, but I remember we were outside. We took a wrong turn somewhere, and the Secret Service, not a Secret Service guy, this guy in full combat battle, he came out of nowhere. I don't know if it was from above or he just appeared, and he was like, can I help you guys? Full machine gun and everything. And we're like, oh, we're on a tour. He's like, yeah, you got to go this way. So that place is protected, man. Let me tell you. So that was awesome for me, stand in the Oval Office and be like, wow, it looks just like it does on TV. And you're just like, wow. So like just feeling the history and the memories and oh man, so incredible standing there in the Oval Office doorway. At number 2 for me, Gettysburg, one of my favorite places to visit. Just a super memorable moment, an incredible place, that sacred ground, right? Every time I've gone there, I just want to spend the day. My dad took me there first when I was in 4th grade. We did a trip to Virginia to stay with a friend of his for a week, and we got to go to Gettysburg. And I didn't know it as much at the time, but my dad was passionately telling me all about it, and then got to go there multiple times on Care Youth League trips. And for a lot of high school, junior high guys, you're like, what are we doing here? Okay, yeah, it was a battle, but like the importance of the battle, that this 3-day battle, had it gone the other way, who knows where we would be today, and how the country could have been divided, and it's just so many lives lost too. You can't stand on that grass or on that hill on Little Round Top or up high and looking out at everything. You can't stand there without feeling a sense of pride, and also a sense of just emotion and tears running down your face a little bit. And it's just, I could spend days there, and I've gone there multiple times, and I would love to go back there very, very soon. And at number 1, my favorite memory from the summers over the years is visiting Normandy in France. There, the site of the D-Day landings. Got to assist in bringing down the American flag at sunset. Me and a couple other guys there. I have some, don't arrest me, whoever, but I have some sand from that beach in a bag that I brought with me back home. And just again, similar to Gettysburg, you can't look out at that ocean, look at that sand, look at the bunker. You can't look at all that with just feeling a tremendous sense of pride. And again, get emotional and think about the thousands of people, not just Americans, but the Allied forces that hit that beach with everything they had. And for the Germans to be defending that beach with everything they had, and just the absolute carnage. I've seen Private Ryan, but to stand there in person and close your eyes almost and picture it all, you feel it. You feel the energy from the past, and just oh, what an honor. What an honor to be there. I've only been there once, but definitely my favorite memory from my summers over the years, and at a place that I definitely want to get back to at some point. Well, now that that list is out of the way, I have another one to get to. But first, I want to mention something. This really gets to me, man. I got to tell you, in true honor of all the randomness of this show, have you guys ever been around people that it could be a meeting, maybe it's a show of some kind, a theater, I don't even know, church maybe, where someone is talking, addressing a group of people, and there's somebody else who they're talking, they're having a conversation with someone else. Probably not on the phone with another person, but I've also seen that. Someone's talking on the phone. I vented about that a few weeks ago. But I won't tell you where this was. You can probably guess. But someone is addressing a group of people, and this other guy, a couple of guys, they're talking and not like whispering. Like if you're having a whispering conversation, okay, fine, whatever. You're being respectful. These guys are talking out loud, pretty loud. And it's not for like 10 seconds either. It's like a full length conversation while someone else is talking to a group, addressing a group. I need you to picture this church, maybe your work, you have a meeting. Again, a movie theater. One time in a movie theater, this lady just talking and talking and talking during the whole movie. And someone finally was like, hey, shh. And she goes, you shush. I was like, oh, we are, lady. Shut up. So I don't, again, the ego, I don't know where we started to slip in this area as a society. There's no decency anymore, or the fact that people just think, I think that's what social media has done. The fact that you can just grab your phone and submit a post. Maybe people just think they can always say whatever they want, whenever they want, which I believe in free speech. Trust me, I'm a free thinker. But there's a time, like, show some respect. So, and then they pull this number. So the person's addressing a group of people talking, not paying attention or not showing respect. Someone comes over and addresses them. Hey, be quiet. Hey guys, what are you doing? And then they have this confused look on their face, like, either what are we doing? It's not a big deal. Or like, oh, someone else was talking. I didn't know. What planet are you on? What is wrong with you? When you see this week, and you're gonna see it, trust me, you're just gonna be what? Hey, were you born yesterday? Person talking to a group of people. You're among that group. Why do you need to talk, and not just talk, but talk loudly while someone else is talking? Do you not need the information they're giving you? If so, if you don't need the information, get out of the room. Go somewhere else and have a conversation. Why are you here? You're here to listen to the person talk, or maybe you're being forced to, but still hold your conversations till later. Why is this so difficult? It's like keeping your phone on all the time and then answering. Oh my God. Hello? Answer it in the movie theater or wherever. It's just an example. Who are these people? How did we become this? What breed of people is this? Like, why is this? There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no connection. Oh, it's these people or that people. It's people. We have people like this in our society. It's driving me crazy with stuff like this. Show some respect. My goodness. For I don't know, forgiveness. Supposed to forgive this person, whatever. How about just listening, audio forgiveness? Just listen. It's just hilarious that it's not just the act itself. It's then oh, I didn't know. You didn't hear or see the big group of people that the person addressing? You didn't. I didn't know. I didn't see. What? It's like, oh, nobody told me. That whole thing. When I used to coach, I'd be like, oh, nobody told you. Hey, make sure you breathe today. What? I got to tell you, or you won't do it. Make sure you do it. We just live in this me world. But it's getting worse in so many different areas. And I'm going to continue to vent to you guys about those every chance I get. It's just, I don't know if it's effects of the vaccine. I don't know. Somebody help me. Help me understand. And if I talked in the back when someone else is talking, yes, I have, but I try to keep it down. I try to keep it quiet. You don't just talk out loud, like where other people can hear you and like disrespectfully You're disrespecting the person on stage or wherever it is by not listening, but then you're making it harder for other people to listen. And then when you're addressed, you're like, oh, what? I didn't know. I didn't know. Get out of here. All right. Let me wrap up the show today with some fun football talk. I do miss putting on the stripes, guys. I miss going out there on a Friday night, get to a game about 5:30 or so, find the locker room, throw the gear on, have a conversation, make some, jokes with your buddies, go on the field, meet the coaches, feel the environment, the bands, the atmosphere, the kids warming up, look at them and be like, man, I was that kid, 15, 20 years ago. It was awesome. And yeah, we get yelled at and we mess things up and we do really good and still getting yelled at and stuff, but it was a battle. It felt like it was better to me than coaching because you go out there and you had to run around. You were kind of competing to be the best team on the field. And so I do miss that, but I'm on to other things now. And I did it for, 10 years or over 10 years, and did other sports as well. But football was hands down the most fun and the most special. So, in looking back at my officiating career, I want to offer up 10 places that were significant to me, 10 football fields that I will always cherish. And from a strictly officiating standpoint, I was out at Care Field, watching practices and stuff the past few weeks, and I talked to somebody, may have been Vice Principal Ixta. I said I had recently watched our 8-man championship game in 2001. And I had the privilege of taking the final snap of 8-man and doing a little quarterback sneak and scoring the last touchdown in 8-man history there at Rio Hondo, down at the west end zone. And what was crazy to think about, I was watching the game, and that was our very last play of the game, right? Our very last offensive play. But what was so interesting was in rewatching the game, I forgot about this. The opening drive, we're on defense. We stripped their running back right at the goal line. Eric Winterberg made an unbelievable play, senior that year. And it was kind of like we were getting pushed around. That happened. It was like, oh, wait, we're here to fight. And so the very first offensive play we ran was a quarterback sneak out of that end zone, going out, needing 79 yards to go. So I don't know. It was the same end zone. It was the first play and the last play of the championship game for offensively, I should say. And I don't know, there was something poetic about that. Quarterback sneak out of the end zone, and then the last play, obviously going in that very same end zone to end it. And so I don't know, it's moments like that. So many memories of Care Field from championship games and rivalry games and things that I remember watching as a kid and then beyond. But so Care Field will always be special to me and probably the most sacred ground. But here are 10 other fields that I always kind of smile at when I either drive by or I think about, and I'll give you the reasons why. From an officiating standpoint, mind you, a lot of other great memories watching games and such, but these are fields I got to set foot on, some of them multiple times. Number 10, Cal Lutheran University. The SCIAC is the Division III NCAA conference here in Southern California, and it's fun to officiate those games. It's all non-scholarship, and a lot of those guys are there for, academics more than anything, but they compete, they play hard. Cal Lutheran always does a great job there in Thousand Oaks of their athletics, their environment. Their field is really cool. It's kind of compressed and tight. Everything, it feels bigger than it is. It's there's no track. Any field that doesn't have a track, huge fan of, because it's like, no, this is football only. All right, they play soccer on it too, but no track. That keeps the fans even further away. Cal Lutheran University there in Thousand Oaks, tight field, great facility, and just a fun environment to work at. And I remember looking up on the hill there beyond the school while I was working games there. And there was just kind of this open area. And I remember always thinking, what's going to be up there someday? They're going to build something. Is it going to be an extension of the school? What's going to be up there someday? Little did I know that years later, that would be the Rams practice facility. And it still is to this day, a temporary practice facility there for the LA Rams, just outside of Cal Lutheran. And it's funny how things work out. I remember sitting there again, working the game during a timeout, looking up at the hill and be like, I wonder what's going to be up there someday. Little did I know it would be my favorite team's practice facility for a few years moving forward. At number 9, I put Chaparral High School down in, where is that? Is it Elsinore? I think it's down in like Murrieta. me double check. I should know this. Chaparral High School, nice environment, nice field, good football program. But I mentioned this one here at number 9 because it was the site of the very last football game I ever worked. And it was a second round playoff game, Chaparral against Paramount High School from over in the Inglewood area, I think, somewhere over there. But a great football game, back and forth. I think I was on the visiting sideline. I think the visiting team won. I had a great crew with me. It was a cold night in December, maybe it was November. But Chaparral High School down in Phelan, so a little bit of a drive. I didn't know it at the time that it was going to be my final game, but I think shortly after that, I kind of figured it would have been, when I kind of didn't go further than that. And I didn't officially know I was going to not stop officiating that next year. And I think that would have been, let's see, I started in 07. I think it was 2017. So exactly 10 years, actually 11 years, I think, of high school football. But I just remember that game being a very competitive playoff game, back and forth. I made some great calls. My buddies made some great calls. We kept the game in order. It could have gotten out of control. It was kind of one of those games. But kids played hard, very talented, good coaching on both sides, and just a fun memory. And I've driven by that school a few times. I'm like, hey, that's you don't always know when the end is, right? Some guys know, but you don't always know. And so for me, that was one that now I look back on as. And some people are like, well, Matt, doesn't have to be the end. You can come back, and maybe someday I will, but probably not. Number 8, Charter Oak High School. Now, last year, Rio Hondo beat Charter Oak in the first round of the CIF playoffs. Huge game, memorable game. It meant so much for me for many reasons, but as a kid, going to Charter Oak football games and seeing that program be so successful there in the 90s, and they've always been good, and it was right up the street from my house. I always loved and respected Charter Oak football. Going to games there, I had a lot of friends and classmates who went to that school, and just a great football program. And that's even more the reason why it was so special for Rio to beat those guys last year, to represent so many of us from the past, right? That lost guys to go play in other schools. But when I set foot on Charter Oaks football field in a varsity game, it was special. It was like, almost like, man, I've made it kind of a thing, like to work a varsity game at Charter Oak. And there's other great schools in the area that I will get to here in a second. But being at Charter Oak, being a kid who grew up there, it meant a lot to me, and getting to work some of those games in the past. And then, of course, the Rio game last year. But this is officiating only. And I had some good memories there at Charter Oak working games, and it was nice working games that were just right up the street from where I live too. So Charter Oak will always be special to me. At number 7, the University of San Diego, a Division I AA school. It is the closest I got to working Division I football. I got to work there twice. That's kind of a place that it's kind of like it's an independent school, so it's not affiliated with a conference, but it's where a lot of guys would work. Division I guys who would work there kind of on their off week, they go down there and work the Toreros football team. And for a lot of us guys in Division III and JC guys, if we got the call to go work that game, that was a big deal. It was obviously nice money wise, but it was a bigger step, right? It was you're on the precipice of maybe working some Division I football in the future, and beautiful place to work, just incredible. And the irony of it all. Again, I like irony and tying things together. I work I'll call it, it was always a dream of mine to work Division I football and Division I baseball. I got to do both of those things, but not exactly the way in which I anticipated or thought I would. I only worked 2 games of Division I AA football at the University of San Diego, 1 game in 2 separate years. But I also worked Division I baseball for, I don't know, almost 8 years or something. But my very first baseball game, a Division I baseball game, was at the University of San Diego. And then, wouldn't you know it, my final college baseball game was at the University of San Diego. The night that Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID for the, what was it, Utah Jazz, or I can't remember what team, but the night the NBA shut down, we were on the field. I remember coming off that field thinking, oh man, this is going to be interesting. So my first and last Division I football game, there was only 2 of them, at University of San Diego, and my first and last Division I baseball games at the University of San Diego. So special place there, incredible campus, great facility, and something that I'm incredibly proud to kind of I don't know, put that into my list of things. At number 6, this is kind of shock some people. Number 6, Faith Baptist. Yes, that Faith Baptist. I grew up Rio football. We played Faith Baptist a lot out there in Canoga Park. I remember, was it my freshman year, sophomore year? We opened the season there. Varsity played after us. Nice Saturday day. And as a sophomore, I didn't play a ton as a freshman, but as a sophomore, I was kind of playing there for Rio Hondo. But the reason I listed Faith Baptist on the list here is because that is where I worked my very first CIF final, an 8-man championship. And I was proud of the fact that it was an 8-man championship because that's the level of ball I played most of my high school career. And to be there and officiate Faith Baptist, a field I had played on before, and for it to be my very first CIF championship in any sport, I was like, this is kind of cool. The little sweet irony to it. So it wasn't much of a game, but I do remember we got like brownies or something from one of the administrators, and they took care of the officials quite well. And I think after that game, I ended up driving up north to San Francisco to watch the Rams and the Niners play. I think it was that weekend. I could be wrong. Yeah, it was. It was the only game I went to at Candlestick Park. Thank God they tore that place down. So anyway, Faith Baptist, you're on the list just for sentimental reasons, we'll say. Not a great facility, but they took care of us, and it was cool being on that field, as being like, hey, I played 8-man football, and now I'm working an 8-man championship game. Pretty cool. At number 5, I have Bishop Amat. For those of you that have not been over to Bishop Amat for a Friday night, Kiefer Stadium, a great environment. I would say it's similar to the Rio. Rio's definitely a few notches down environment-wise, but the environment is like, it's kind of like very neighborhood friendly, right? The In-N-Out truck is always there. There's people out there tailgating at 3:00. You drive up and they're like, what's your name? It's very orchestrated. And Bishop Amat played Division I football. So I've refereed some great games there. Bishop Amat versus Crespi, Bishop Amat versus Servite, schools of that nature. So a great environment, man. And when you get that assignment, you know that it's a bigger deal than usually maybe some of the other schools, just because they care more. Great facility. Not quite like, a St. John Bosco type of field or anything, but it's just it's got some charm to it. It's got grass only, which is great. They have a track, but oh well. I think they put the visiting bleachers on the track, and there's not a ton of them, but like they back up to like these houses right behind the stadium. The visiting side, and just the Amat tradition, right, is just, it speaks for itself, and a really, really cool environment. Very similar to, again, Rio, maybe Rio's similar to them, however you want to say it, but I love environments and atmospheres, and I think Bishop Amat definitely leads the way there. At number 4, I put Antelope Valley College, way up there in Lancaster, California. I don't remember a ton about the game, but it was my very first college football game. And again, kind of bookending that season. I think I worked 5 college games that season. I was on call, and the first game of the season and the last game of the season, both of them at Antelope Valley College. So a special place to me. And I just remember taking my first few snaps of college football thinking, oh, this will be just a little bit better than, varsity football. And I've worked some great varsity games by this time. This was my 3rd year of officiating, by the way. And as soon as the ball's kicked off, I was like, oh, wow, these are bigger, faster dudes. This is like real college football. Because if you can officiate community college football in California, you can officiate it anywhere, because it is Division I talent football. Not many people in the stands, but if you're looking to get to a good football game somewhere, go check out a JC game. I know Citrus College right up the street. They got a great program. Coach Hayashi has been on this podcast before, and does a great job with those guys. And as an alumnus of Citrus College, it's fun to see a team locally, but good talent all around, and guys that are playing hard, trying to get to the next level. So Antelope Valley College, special to me for that very reason. My first college snaps in my officiating career. Number 3, Covina District Field. Not this one, but the old one. And yes, it was on the same site. And I think what they've done with the remodel, probably however many years ago, it's been 5 years ago or so. That's cool. It's very neat. But the old field, it ran, what direction does it run now? And now it runs east-west. It used to run north-south, and a ton of great memories there. No track. And it was all grass. Loved it. Again, any field that doesn't have the track, I'm a huge fan of. So no track, grass field. Both bleachers were exactly the same. Covina, Northview, and South Hills all played their home games there. So when they play each other, you'd occasionally be on the visiting side. I grew up there watching my cousin, Casey Wasilshin, who was everything. Their play at Northview. My parents went to Northview. My aunts, my aunt, my uncle, everyone went to Northview. So we did a lot of games there at Covina District Field. And when Rio got to play in the 2008, no, 8, 9, or 10. It was 9. The 09 championship game, they needed a neutral site, I guess. And Mark Carson and Mr. Drain set up Covina District Field. It was a mud bowl, crazy game. They lost, I think, 9-6 or whatever to Linfield Christian. But it was awesome playing a CIF championship game there. I watched, I think, my first CIF championship game at Covina District Field, watching Covina in 1995 beat Lompoc 23-21. Covina blocked a field goal as time expired to win the CIF championship. I was there. It was a full house, and I remember watching Northview win some playoff games there. It's the field now. It was remodeled. All the teams had to play somewhere else for a year while they remodeled it. It's turf now. It runs east-west. It's got, nicer locker rooms and things, but it's not the same. I mean, it backs up there right behind Pizza Chalet, right? It was a popular place after games. But my one officiating, I had a couple of them. And my assigner, Tracy McFate, was outstanding for this, but I had one request as a official, or one of my first requests to Tracy, and that was I wanted to work the very first game at the new district field. And it was, I think it was a Thursday night, maybe Covina against La Puente, right? Not a big game or anything, but it was the very first regular season game at Covina District Field. And because of my family history and being there so much, I wanted to work the first game. And then, he honored my request. I did that. I should have requested the first Northview game. And I'm not cheat for anyone, but just because of the family history, that would have been cool. That I should have done the first game and the first Northview game, maybe back-to-back nights, back-to-back weeks. That would have been cool. But anyway, I worked the first ever game at the new Covina District Field as requested, and it was a tremendous honor to do so. At number 2, I have Citrus College for many reasons. Number 1, I went to college there, but I played a legendary game against Western Christian in the rain there. We had many circuses there, a lot of connections to that, but it was also the site of my very first varsity football game. Gladstone hosting Gary on a Friday night. I got the call, I think Thursday after it was the second game I ever worked was a varsity game. And I guess I had a decent impact on the Thursday freshman game I did. And then I was a guy that was always out watching the varsity crews work. So I guess they trusted me enough to do that. Anyway, Gladstone against Gary, not a big game by any means, but a huge game to me. And it meant a lot to work at Citrus College. And again, with all those connections and then playing there. And then since then, I've officiated a bunch of games there. I always love working Citrus games in Glendora, right up the street, kind of a small locker room that they need to improve on, but hey, can't have it all. They always had a check for you, and a lot of day games there at Citrus. So a great place to work football games. But my first game was under the lights was at Citrus College, and I wouldn't have it any other way. At number 1, making my list of favorite fields, most memorable fields I've officiated on, I'll go with Anaheim Stadium. Some people call it Angel Stadium. I will always call it Anaheim Stadium because when I was a kid, going to Rams games with my father for 3 years or so, went to Anaheim Stadium, the Big A, and watched the LA Rams play a lot of football games and season tickets we had, and got to get to games early with Dad, play catch, the chili cook-offs, get my face painted, all these great things. And then we'll go watch the Rams usually lose pretty bad, but we had season tickets there, right along the third baseline, kind of halfway between home plate and third base, field level towards the top. They'd be great baseball seats today, but back then they were football seats, and so many fond memories there. And having the opportunity to be selected to work the Division I CIF championship game in 2015 against it was St. John Bosco against Corona Centennial, number 1 versus number 2. No, not in the division. No, not state rankings. These were the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country rankings wise. And it was Corona Centennial that took down St. John Bosco after, I believe, Bosco won the year. They met in the championship the year before. I think Bosco may have beat them the year before. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was the most points scored in a first half in CIF history. And I forget the final. I think it ended up being 63-40 or something. Anyway, it was a lot of running around, but to be on that field and work a football game. I also umpired a baseball game there one time, Azusa Pacific versus Cal Baptist on home plate. So that was cool. Also, that was a different sport. But Anaheim Stadium, man, working that CF championship and feeling it was packed, right? The environment and just it was something I will never, ever forget. And I was just remember thinking, man, it doesn't get any better than this. And going to football games with Mark Carson as a high school guy in college, always going to big games at Anaheim Stadium. Usually the final was there. I remember thinking it'd be cool to play here someday. Little did I know, again, it's funny how things work out. I would officiate there someday. And this isn't a bragging, this whole thing isn't about me bragging. It's just kind of me going down memory lane and looking back at a fun officiating career. Now that football season is starting, I'm on to other things now with the Rio Hondo Prep Charge to Keep podcast. But I did want you guys to kind of hear my story, I guess, as to some of my most memorable experiences from officiating football in some of my favorite places that I have ever worked at. So thanks for bearing with me. I appreciate you. It is Thursday. We are 2 weeks away from the NFL season starting as the defending Super Bowl champion LA Rams host the Super Bowl favorite Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football to kick off the season, September 20th. But before then, we got Rio Hondo Prep Football this Friday hosting El Monte in the season opener. There is some college football this Saturday. Nebraska and Northwestern play in Ireland of all places, but there's some other games on there. I think there's like 10 games maybe for Division I football. Utah State plays. I think Hawaii plays, right? Some of the West Coast teams. So football's here, man. It is here. The last couple weeks here will be tough waiting for the final stretch here for the NFL, but hopefully with my goodbye to summer, memories from my summer, and with my favorite football fields I've worked on, it's getting you guys a little fired up for some football. And if nothing else, from listening to today's podcast, start writing down things that you can get forgiven for your we're repenting of our sins, right? We should always do that. Let's repent of our debts, repent of our expenses, right? It seems like someone will pay the bill. I don't know if it's constitutionally allowed or going to happen, but it seems like a way for President Biden to President Bribin. Ooh, that's a good one. Did anyone else come up with that? Not Biden, President Bribin. I'm going to write that one down. He's bribing all these young kids with student loans. Hey, vote for the Democratic Party. How about you vote for who you think do a good job? Not give you stuff, but unfortunately, that's the world we're in. Okay, I'm done venting. I got my political statement in there for the day. I'm sorry to anyone that's offended. I apologize to nobody. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. It is here. Happy Thursday. Enjoy the football this weekend, especially with Rio Hondo on Friday. I'll be back next week for a Thursday episode here on the Get Home Safe podcast. Eventually, I will have some guests, but just one day a week now on the Get Home Safe podcast on Thursday mornings for you guys. And then don't forget, Charge to Keep podcast, not only this Sunday, recapping the big game from Friday night, but a little preview show tomorrow that will be released, probably a 20-minute, 15-minute, just a little brief me, my thoughts on the upcoming game, some keys to the game, and then a pregame show on site at Care Park in Irwindale. Probably around 5:30 or so. So check that out on YouTube. It'll probably post sometime after 6. Anyway, enough for me, guys. I'm out of breath, out of ideas. Appreciate you spending the time with me today. It's time for more coffee. But guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.